Welcome to the Big Biz Show. Taking care of business. You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, and Greg. Now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
From the Loft 100 studio, sunny Southern California, wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, we certainly appreciate you being along for the ride. It is the Big Biz Show. I'm sitting here at the bar looking handsome as usual. I'm Costa. Mary Godwin, she's in the red. She's a lady in red, as they say. And our executive producer is Greg Todoroff. What's up, Sal?
Is that a wetsuit or is that...
I swear to God, my wife said to me yesterday, I've been with my personal trainer like super into it like the last 2.5, 3 months. And her exact...
Out of how many years?
Oh, a long time. Yeah. And her exact words to me, as only a beautiful, loving wife would say, your face isn't looking as fat on TV as it normally has.
And that's the bar.
Bless her heart. Aww. What a sweetheart. What a nice thing to say.
True love.
Love her. Don't want to push her in the train
hey, honey,
ever in front of
honey, does this sweater make me look fat? No, your face does, Mike. Your face makes you look fat.
Yeah.
You look good. Yeah. Let's say hello to the Day Trainer Trio. Good to see you guys. Somebody's been sleeping in my bed.
Yeah. No. Look at me.
Who was here? Was that you? Did you put the orange thing on here?
No.
Because that looks suspiciously like Cheetos dust.
All of the knobs.
The other day when both of your eyes fell out and you had to go have them put them back in, I was manning the con, but I made sure not to touch like the butterfly in the forest thing. I was just
the butterfly in the forest.
Butterfly in the forest.
Wait, hold on. Do tell.
Yeah.
Oh no!
So what is that?
Don't you mean bear in the woods?
That's
true.
Yeah. That one too. No,
you can lead a horse to water, but you can't get the bird out of the bush. What exactly are you trying to say?
When a tree falls in the forest, but no one's there, blah, 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 that type of thing. I didn't leave. No. I didn't touch anything. I promise.
Okay,
so that's not me.
I smell Funyun powder and I smell Cheetos.
Nothing.
Okay, let's just get there. How come, because a presidential candidate has the same genitalia you do, that you're suddenly supporting him? Give me a reason to support Donald Trump. Give me a reason
to go politics right now?
Yeah, I want to ask because you know what? I'm a little tired of your frickin' posts, Mary. and I'm the most independent guy in the world. I can't handle another 4 years of Orange is the New Dead, right?
Well, maybe.
I can't handle another 4 years of rancor.
Yeah.
It was the greatest ear injury in the history of ear injuries.
Right.
He wasn't that good. By the way, if you Donald Trump has fair sized ears. If you stepped outside in San Diego and just pointed a gun in the air to the east, there's a fair chance you're gonna hit his ears anyway. So does this put me in cuffs? That's just an observation. But the point is also, is it Kamala or Kamala or Kamala? Kamala. Mm-hmm. I don't get when she wasn't a candidate like 6 minutes ago, and now she is the bee's knees. Yeah. What is the deal? It's because, have you seen Bill Burr talk about just wait till the first woman is president, which makes her husband the first lady. And the minute he opens his mouth, this is her time. You shut up. Meanwhile, Michelle Obama is filling up stadiums. So can you tell me, what is the attraction versus somebody? I just want to know.
We don't have the time. Well, also, I don't have bodyguards in here to talk about.
We're not. Listen, the only person that's just right at Donald Trump is Mike, so it's okay.
Yeah.
What I mean, are you? Is this
a civil discourse?
Is this a new hope because she's female? Because she certainly doesn't have the credibility.
Just because
she doesn't have a background.
She does have a background.
What's the background?
She has been a district attorney. First of all, the way she spoke on the debate stage was so articulate. She had her points.
You mean when she was doing nothing but attacking? Yeah, that was good.
She wasn't doing nothing but attacking. She had clear plans on a lot of different topics.
By the way, can I just say for now? Can I just say right now? At this point, I would vote for her. Okay, so just. But my needle's getting moved here because.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, empty suit party one. If you look back, she's never done anything. Okay. But neither
First of all, have you seen the TV show Veep? Because we all know the vice president.
That's right.
Because Hollywood's real.
Vice presidents don't do anything. Tell me one vice president that's allowed to do much.
LBJ did a lot. Made himself president after he killed Kennedy.
That's right.
Big Biz Show. BigBizShow.com. See, I can't.
I let the band cut me off. They know.
I can't stop from watching crop circle videos and also JFK.
proud to say in over 175 countries and all the ships at sea on the American Forces Network, this is the Big Biz Show. To our brave men and women, the United States Armed Forces, thank you for what you're doing, what you have done for us. Costa, Mary Bird Godwin. Our executive producer is Greg Todorov, and of course,
who's kind of mouthy today. What the hell? Where's your cup bar? Jeez.
Sometimes, every once in a while, if I could get Mary to keep it quiet over there.
I know. Hey, Mary, quiet down. The men are talking. Oh boy. 125 million TV homes strong. Thank you to Biz Television Network, American Life Network, and of course Bloomberg El Financiero. And we're going into Bloomberg EU. They won't put us on primetime in Bloomberg US. I wonder why. Jeez. Great to see you. Hey, Christian Kanstrup, what a treat having you in studio, my friend.
Sure. Great being here.
We met you, I believe, at a biotech conference here in San Diego just a short while ago, right?
That's correct.
I want to talk about the thing that most viewers email us about. And of course, Christian is the CEO of Evaxion. EVAX is the stock symbol. And this is where you talk about literally AI and cancer therapy and biotech therapy. And it's interesting because who would ever think that you could speed up the velocity of research as well as treating these maladies with AI? Yeah. My first question is, do we trust it enough? Because if I GPT chat myself, I'm currently married, living in Las Vegas with his lovely wife Christy and his 2 young boys. So it's about 85% perfect. Talk to me about how AI works with biotech.
No, I think it's fair to say we trust it. And I think it's also fair to say that I am absolutely convinced if we look 10 years from now, AI in drug discovery and drug development, that's where we're going to be.
And it'll speed everything up, I'm assuming.
It's going to do 2 things. It's going to speed up things. It's going to enable us to develop medicines you can't develop with conventional approaches, right? Because, I mean, look at cancer, for instance. 10 million deaths a year still, despite all the advancement we have seen. So there is a need for doing something different. And that's what we have set out to do, utilizing AI to develop new therapies faster and more efficacious than what you can do with conventional therapy.
So we may broadcast or maybe be aired everywhere, but we broadcast from San Diego, which is a biotech center. We've been, even here in San Diego, even on radio commercials, we hear about personalized cancer therapy, which is something that is not familiar to a lot of the world. So talk about that, because that's really the tiebreaker here. That's really what makes you bigger, better, faster, stronger, is that we've got personalized vaccine for cancers. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's the core of what we're doing within the cancer area. That is developing personalized cancer therapies. Imagine, I mean, you get cancer. Wouldn't you like a medicine which you know is designed exactly for you? It's not just something that is for the broad population, but it's something which is made specifically for you with the purpose of being as effective as possible. And that you cannot do unless you have a AI platform which has been proven, validated, and developed over many years, that's capable of designing exactly that medicine you need to treat your cancer.
When you first got into this field of, for lack of a better term, trying to save people's lives, did you know this is kind of where you were going to go, where this was headed, as far as trying to get out ahead of cancer in general?
The funny thing about Evaxion as a company, it was actually founded back in 2008, and it was founded as an AI-first company. Many of
in 2008.
Wow. I think it's fair to say that the 2 founders were probably...
I still had an 8-track tape player in 2008.
The 2 founders were probably a little bit ahead of themselves. But that also means that... but it means that we have gotten a 15-year head start, right? Because there are many companies out there now claiming they're using AI, which they probably are doing to some extent, but we have had 15 years to develop and mature our platform.
You've been in the biotech business for 25 years.
Yeah.
How tough was it for you to buy into that in the beginning? Because let's face it, you're a scientist. You're down to an empirical sort of set of standards every single time, regardless of what the challenge is. You go from here to here. To take off the plane. To land the plane. All of a sudden, here's this thing called AI. Did it take a while for you to be convinced, or was it something that is an aha moment with a light bulb over your head immediately?
I would say I was very quickly convinced. Looking at the broad pipeline that we have developed with the use of our AI immunology platform, that convinced me. Then I would say I'm also very convinced that you need to get into the personalized therapies in order to be able to really make a difference for patients with cancer.
Now,
I was convinced.
You work on metastatic melanoma. Does that indicate that if we're using AI and a personalized vaccine, that we could possibly be treating other solid tumor cancers or other blood cancers at the same time, other than just one specific? Does that horizon look better and better because of that?
It does. I mean, we have our lead candidate, EVX-01, which is in phase 2, metastatic melanoma. We actually just presented the top-line phase 2 one-year clinical data this Monday, and we're presenting the full data this Saturday, which showed that we had a 69% overall response rate in metastatic melanoma, which is very high compared to when you look at what other therapies can do in metastatic melanoma. And the beauty of this is just the first indication. The concept we have with designing these personalized vaccines can be applied in any solid tumor where you have enough mutations of the tumor so you can design a personalized vaccine. But 69% overall response rate, that's quite amazing and offers great hopes for developing a really groundbreaking vaccine candidate here.
Does top-line phase 2 open up for compassionate treatment potentially?
Per se, the results itself doesn't open up for compassionate treatment, but it shows clearly that the concept works. And then, of course, there are a lot of opportunities for compassionate treatment where we also have been contacted with the objective of designing possible vaccine candidates.
Talk about Merck, because here's how I feel about this. I think that if you have, the cure for male pattern baldness, okay, or you have a cure for whatever the market is, and suddenly you discover that this therapy can treat other therapies, and you start doing partnerships with guys like Merck or Pfizer, is there some pressure for you to reverse engineer this to get the biggest market versus the biggest need? In other words, if there's a bigger market for, let's say, breast cancer versus metastatic melanoma, do you switch gears or you just add it into the cadre?
No, you focus on where the unmet needs are, because with the unmet needs, you also have the market opportunity. And I think here we don't have to worry about one indication or the other. 10 million deaths a year, still significant unmet need within cancer. So we want to make a difference for patients. I mean, our purpose is to be saving and improving lives with our AI immunology platform. So it's about going after the unmet needs and making a difference for the patients. And with that comes a significant commercial opportunity, which is also evidenced by the data we presented this Monday.
You talk about, you're really kind of an enterprise-wide solution, because not only are you coming up with a therapy here that's novel, that seems to be able to be global in terms of treatment, but you're also an R&D company with Merck. You don't see that every day in a biopharma. And if you can pull that off, that's a whole new business model for biopharma. Talk about the Merck deal, talk about the R&D thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're doing two things, or a number of things, but two things in particular. One, developing our own pipeline assets, such as the EVX-01, which, by the way, also is done in collaboration with Merck. And then we have a different partnerships with Merck, where we are developing a completely novel vaccine candidate within infectious diseases. It's an infectious disease where there is a significant unmet need and no vaccine available today. And here we apply the AI immunology platform again to do it faster, to do it better than what you can do with traditional approaches such as reverse vaccinology.
Will you take this to market, or will you have a bigger company come acquire this asset and just keep going on the next deal?
We are looking to partner, because what we do best, that's the
science,
discovery and development of novel vaccine candidates based upon our AI immunology platform. I believe that Merck is a lot better at doing the late-stage development of a vaccine candidate and eventually marketing them. I believe in doing what you do best, and that's definitely utilizing AI to develop new, truly groundbreaking medicines.
So in as much as what you can tell us as a CEO of a public company, what do we got coming up in the next 12 months? Can you give us an indication?
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting coming 12 months. I mean, it already starts on Saturday, where we will be presenting the full data set of our EVX-01 in metastatic melanoma. And with the top line data, I mean, I am truly excited about the full data set coming out here. So that's one thing. Then, of course, we have also a lot of focus on generating business development partnerships. That's where we have been focusing a lot during the past 6 months. Now we have been spending a long time developing a truly unique pipeline, truly unique platform. Now we have pivoted into the phase of let's partner these let's bring them to the market, and that's where you should be looking for some exciting, hopefully, announcement around new partnerships.
Well, that means there's going to be an announcement.
Hello.
I can't wait to have you back in San Diego. Thank you so much, Christian. Christian Kanstrup, CEO of Evaxion. EVAX is the stock symbol. It's exciting stuff, and we could go on forever on the thing. I think our Bloomberg audience got to take a look at the Bloomberg Focus we're going to be doing with Christian coming up shortly. Once again, Evaxion-Biotech. Thanks, Christian. Good to see you. More Big Biz coming up.
It is the Big Biz Show. Hope you guys are having a great day. We always appreciate you being along for the ride here from Loft 100 Studios in Southern California. I'm Costa. That lady right there in the middle, that is Mary Burt Godwin. And our executive producer is Greg Todorov. He's over there at third base if it was a blackjack table. And of course, the guy behind the bar, Sully.
That's true.
Yeah.
What would he be if he was playing baseball?
Leave at third base.
Third base still? That's what they called it.
If I'm pacing that way. If I'm pitching
No,
that
you're the catcher.
Oh, he's first base.
You're the catcher.
If you're
on third base.
we all know that I'm the pitcher.
That's loaded.
Shortstop. Got.
But if you were
If I'm pitching this way.
now, he's third
I'm
base.
third
If you're
base.
this way, he's first base.
God, I'm completely confused at this point. Are you watching baseball right now?
yeah.
Bits and pieces.
Pods.
That was if I could get that 3 hours back from the other day. Unbelievable. I try to be a Padre fan, so I was born and raised here in San Diego.
Sure.
It's
I
hard.
find myself being a Phillies fan because of friends, and I've got a great bachelor party I'm going to at Garrett Stubbs in Mexico soon, so why not be a Phillies fan?
Oh, hey now.
Hey.
I'll be hanging
Make sure
with,
you take lots of pictures.
I'll be hanging with Marsh and with
Yeah, that's the best part
Shepard.
about bachelor parties. Is taking a bunch of pictures.
Yeah. Bryan Kobel is the CEO of TCU Biopharm Holdings, one of my favorite guys. Well, Bryan, every time you walk into this,
Great segue.
I'm sorry about that, buddy.
I really appreciate you throwing me in right after.
Hey, you got a lot of crazy good stuff going on here, and it's really interesting to watch you do the science and acquisitions involved in your business, but also kind of deftly manage the market and expectations. I mean, it's been an interesting year. Talk about it.
Yeah, we're off and running. Obviously, one of the positives we had recently is the movement into viral infections, which is great with monkeypox. We actually just announced today that the first patient in the restart of the ACHIEVE trial, so the increased dosing level, has completed their fourth and final treatment for TCB008. So they've received roughly 1 billion gamma delta cells with TCB008. So really exciting about that. We've seen no safety issues. The drug's been very tolerable for patients, at least no safety issues related to the actual treatment. And now once we complete that cohort, we'll have a chance to scrub the data, analyze the data, and then discuss with investors the efficacy results, primary, secondary endpoints, hopefully reaching. That should happen in the first half of next year. So,
Hey, Bryan, so since the science is moving the exact direction that you anticipated, things are going well, is the next challenge to raise money to fund top line for the next phase? That's got to be the next challenge, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the next challenge for us is a couple-fold. One, it's not just the next sort of commercial trial. It's also, what is this data, the efficacy data from phase 2B, open up for us in other arenas? So it's not just, hey, let's keep going down the AML path. It's, all right, now what about solid tumors? We've looked a lot at ovarian, we've looked a lot at head and neck, we've looked at prostate, sort of those types of arenas. What do the combination trials look like? Because we think once this data comes out, you'll see a lot of people knock on the door that are in that sort of ADC, bispecific engager world to combine with TCB008. And then outside of oncology, what's the virology indications look like? We think monkeypox is exciting for us because it opens up the door for potentially a priority review voucher, which remember a couple of years ago, those things were selling for 50, 75 million. So it's a chance to really generate some money for the company as well in a non-dilutive manner. So we're taking a lot of this into account, but I think this data really is a springboard, not just to that next step of the commercial trial, but all these other indications and opportunities in oncology and outside of oncology.
Hey, Bryan, what's interesting is if you look at your model, not only are you guys moving down the field with respect to therapies and getting things approved, but you're also an acquisition company, which is really interesting. You don't see that every day with the Biopharm. Talk about that and plans for the future there.
Yeah, we got kind of lucky, and well, I guess we were lucky and unlucky at the same time relative to the cell therapy market and what's been going on there. And you've seen, a lot of great companies with really good assets are facing massive headwinds in the fundraising world, both private companies and the VCs, where they're struggling to raise funds and struggling to deploy capital, as well as in the public markets. So from our perspective, broadly speaking, we want to be able to help people. And being a public company, that allows us to use our currency to make acquisitions. So looking at expanding our base outside of just TCB008 and our bread and butter of allogeneic gamma delta cells, we're looking at NK companies, we're looking at other modified CAR gamma delta companies, other companies like that, even some that are similar to us, where 1 + 1 = 3, 4, 5. There's a chance here we can take on, using our currency and some cash, expand the base, take on other indications, take on other assets, and all of a sudden, you become one of the largest cell therapy companies on the planet, sort of overnight. So we're trying to take advantage, I think, of what is, a difficult time for cell therapy companies, and also give these companies and their employees a chance to continue to exist and do the work that's necessary to get cell therapy where it needs to be as a therapeutic arena.
Hey, Bryan, when you first came on the Zoom with us, there was someone behind you, and then they disappeared. Are you being held against your will?
No, they are. They're being held against their will.
Okay, perfect. Hey, as far as TCB008 is concerned, if you go back to like the first day, the first start down this road, is it coming along kind of as you anticipated? Is it better than you anticipated?
I think the path has certainly been rougher than we had intended.
Okay.
But I don't think that's necessarily indicative of the organization or the assets or the people. I think it's really indicative of those capital markets headwinds we were facing. If you remember, the company went public, the day after Mark Zuckerberg melted the world with meta numbers.
Melted the world.
Yeah, and it was just a downturn for biotech for 12, 18 months, cell therapy for now 24 months. So, I think we've had to pick and choose our spots and maybe move a little bit slower in areas that we maybe wouldn't have slowed in. But I also think from the perspective of the team's performance, from the assets performance, it's gone incredibly well. The fact that we were able to get the IND up and running with the FDA, the fact we're able to reorganize the trial that's ongoing and increase that dosing level with the support of the investigators, the support of the doctors, support of the DSMB, it tells you how powerful this therapeutic could actually be. And the fact that now we have patients, getting billions of cells, it really is incredible. So I think, no path is ever smooth. You never start day one, end up where you want to be, and have this like perfect plan, right?
Yeah.
Nothing ever works, right? It's everybody gets punched in the mouth. But I would tell you that we got back off the canvas, and our response to the negative environment is exactly what I felt would come from this team, because they are phenomenal people. They're hardworking, they're intelligent, they're dedicated, and now we are where we are, right? It's just about getting data now. It's incredible.
Bryan Kobel is his name. He, of course, is CEO of TC Biopharma Holdings, TCBP. Bryan, when we get you on the air next, I know you're coming to town at some point. I want to talk about, you had, I think, 25 or 30 years experience as head of healthcare investment banking. And next time we get on the air, we're going to talk about what's going on in the biopharma world with respect to capital formation, because you guys had a couple tough years. Looked like it was going to be a great year, and all of a sudden we're getting a little headwinds here. So next time I want to talk about that. His name, Bryan Kobel, as Greg would say. Talk to you, buddy. Thanks, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Talk about a guy that's doing everything.
Oh my gosh.
That way, that stock's up 20% today. Just saying.
Hello.
I talked about stock, but I just did, didn't I? All right. Coming up, I have no idea, but we'll keep going. Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. See you in a minute. Loft 100 Studios, The Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullygroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
Big Biz Show humming along in another gorgeous day here in Southern California. Costa, Maribyrn Godwin, Greg Todorov, our executive producer, the guy right there, Sully. And might I say a much cooler Southern California?
Yeah.
It was like hot as it was Africa hot.
It was.
It was honestly like Middle East hot.
It was disgusting.
It's like I don't know why. It's just when it gets that way, and
it takes away your will to live.
It does that, and working with you guys. But other than that,
can't get any work done.
But can you imagine the people that are in like Howie in New York or Florida and stuff? This is like just a thing.
It's all the time.
Yeah,
I don't know how they.
What about the 1800s where you had to wear you had to wear long underwear, a shirt, a vest, a jacket, a hat, and you're riding through El Paso? How did that happen? Did we just become wusses?
Yeah. What about the guys that paved the highways, the roads? Like someone had to pave that road through Death Valley, right?
Yeah.
Gosh darn.
Do you know what caused? Do you know what's got us out of the original Depression? Highways and state parks.
Oh, really?
Highways and national parks. Yeah. That's right. Put people to work on the roads and stuff.
Was that FDR? FDR did that?
Yeah, FDR, FTS, whatever, one of the two.
Yeah.
The
220.
Whatever.
220, 221.
Yeah, something like that. Okay.
I can't remember I can only remember the presidents who got killed. I can't remember what they actually did, except for LBJ who killed Kennedy. Other than that, still, you get the impression I watched
Not at all.
JFK thing over the weekend.
Not at all.
Oh my God. Great to have you. Eric Dresselhuys, of course, CEO of S Incorporated. That's ESS, and their stock symbol GWH. The importance of long duration energy storage cannot be understated in terms of even with this election coming up. I have to tell you, Eric, if politics goes in your direction, I can hear the word mandate coming. Mandate cannot be a bad thing for a guy like you. Do you have any comment on the fact that your entire life could change with a mandate coming down from the federal government? That's a big deal, man.
Well, I think it's going to change either way the election goes. We're here. I'm calling you from the largest renewable energy show in North America called RE+. And if you read the tea leaves of the utilities and the independent operators and everybody else here, I think it's coming no matter who gets elected.
Eric, this reminds me, I don't want to compare you I don't want to be too far off my analogy here, but when cannabis was voted in recreationally in places like California, they didn't have an infrastructure, although it was widely applauded. Do we have an infrastructure for what you're talking about there? I mean, are we in place? Are we ahead of the game there? Because that's a really important factor to consider.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of what the problem that we're solving is. We're talking a lot about the hot topic here at the conference is generative AI and what's AI going to do to data centers and the need for more energy and more power to operate these systems. And the short answer today is we don't have enough. We have to build massive amounts storage and infrastructure to support what is a train that's coming down the track. So I don't think we have much of a choice but to build it. And if we don't, it's going to become an economic development problem, not an energy problem.
Eric, we just had a massive SDG&E battery fire here in San Diego, and it smelled like somebody was tarring the whole city of San Diego because of this giant lithium battery fire they had. How different is that if it is an iron flow sustainable battery, like you manufacture?
Yeah, well, it doesn't happen at all. And that fire, that Escondido fire, has been all the talk here at the conference, because if it was a one-off, that'd be one thing, but I think this is the third or the fourth fire in San Diego County this year alone. And my understanding is the town council had an emergency meeting to consider a ban of lithium batteries. And so our battery is entirely different. We do what's called an iron flow battery. So that uses iron, salt, and water as its electrolyte, so it doesn't start on fire. It doesn't have that off gassing. So the what you were smelling part is the off gases, because you really can't put out a lithium fire. You just have to let it burn itself out.
Eric, back to my infrastructure question. If you see mandates like that across the country, you guys got to gear up for manufacturing and other things like that. What do you have to do to plan for that? Because careful what you wish for, right? Suddenly you got more business you can handle. Is this something that you guys are prepared for? Because I know that when I look at your news, it seems like you're running down the field at a perfect clip, and it seems like manufacturing's in place. But what happens if the floodgates get open?
Yeah, no, it's something we think about all the time. One of the things we really like about our technology, beyond the safety and the sustainability of it, is that it's relatively easy to manufacture. So with kind of 6 to 9 months notice, I could expand manufacturing capacity 5 times, 10 times from where we're at today. It's generally available materials. We're not mining exotic stuff from Africa or from Latin America. So iron is pretty broadly available. And the rest of it is really just automation lines at our factory in Oregon.
Hey, Eric, I want to go to your start in energy. How did you come to this business? How did you come to ESS?
It's a funny and long story. I started my career working for Procter & Gamble, and I came into the energy world in about 1996, when everybody seemed to be quitting their good day jobs to go to work on a .com. You could do petfood.com or something. And that wasn't appealing to me, but I had a reasonable technical background, and so I started a company that was the first real smart grid company that operates and manages the grid. So I did that for most of my career, and then joined ESS a little over 3 years ago, because anybody who understands the grid, understands how our energy system works, knows that energy storage is one of the kind of the holy grail things that when we solve this problem, it unlocks an immense amount of opportunity for both decarbonization, but maybe more importantly right now, just creating the energy supply and the resiliency and reliability that we need, because that's really what we all count on every day. Most people, when you talk to them, when you say, what do you think about electricity? They say, I want the lights to come on when I get home.
Right.
Eric Dresselhuys, the CEO of ESS Incorporated. Their stock symbol is GWH.
Hey, Eric, talk about how the U.S. is doing in terms of adoption versus the rest of the world.
Well, we got work to do. There's countries with higher renewable penetration, like Australia, like Germany, are frankly moving a little faster and a little more aggressively than we are. But I think the U.S. is starting to catch up, and you're seeing it. People think of it as a California thing, but it's Texas, it's Michigan, it's New York, it's Nebraska. Every place that has a lot of wind or has a lot of solar is starting to pay a lot of attention to how they get the storage to make sure the system stays resilient.
How do we combat what happened with the solar industry, where we had so many sunset provisions in terms of tax benefits and such, that the thing sort of dried up? And the open air indicators, how often do you hear solar commercials on the radio anymore? And I know it's a little bit different, but have we put ourselves, have we set a good foundation for this to go in the future? Because it's happening. And you and I talked about energy transition a year ago, and we were talking about the idea of energy transition. It's here. Are we foundational?
I think we're getting there. One of the things that some of the current policies and tax rulings have done that I think was really smart is they've got 10-year timeframes. So in solar, you may recall back in the day, everything got reviewed every year. And so every year, everybody panicked that it wouldn't get renewed. And then at the 11th hour, it would get renewed and we'd move on. And then we'll repeat that every year. And if I look at it, we're competing with China, right, from a manufacturing technology perspective, and they play the long game better than we do sometimes.
Eric, we're going to head there next time with the camera crew. We got to go follow you around over there. That sounds like
there you go.
It's
a great show.
Thanks, buddy.
Good. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, Eric Dresselhuys. All right. No more stinky skies in San Diego.
Oh my God! Well, when he says, right? Did you let it burn out?
Did you just say, "Oh my God, oh my God, everybody, oh my God"? Did you see the fire? I'm like, "Oh, I'm your eye in the sky" by Costa. Big Biz Show.
It is the Big Biz Show for the Loft 100 Studios. We are located in beautiful, sunny Southern California. My customer, Robert Godwin, Greg Tatarov, and Sully.
How are you?
We're doing well.
And the Day Trader Trio.
DTT.
Looking a little different today.
Trace is wearing a hat.
And a mask.
And a mask.
And apparently he's been sick. You be you, Trace. You be you, brother.
He's been jogging.
Been jogging. Poor Trace. Hey, great to have you along today. I continue to talk about customer service, and I had a friend of mine call me the other day, and I think this is a new television show, and he calls it First World Problems. He goes, how do you contend as a person who can even stay at, let's say, the top tier Marriott, or even a Four Seasons? I don't know. What's in that? What's a bigger hotel?
Peninsula.
The Ritz.
Ritz. Yeah. Right.
And your biggest complaint is, well, they didn't get my wife's door before mine.
Yeah.
Versus a person who's going to see their mother who's dying and can't afford a Southwest plane ticket and a Hampton Inn, and a Hampton Inn, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And he calls it first world problems. And the issue is, I immediately thought of Shep Hyken, because customer service, we all have a right to get what we paid for. But at what right can't you complain? At what right can you stay at a place like that and still be a good person and realize that you have, like, every problem we have is first world problems versus a majority of society? And I thought, what a compelling topic, especially for a guy like Shep Hyken. Shep Hyken, of course, is the Chief Amazement Officer of Shepard Presentations. He has several books, one of which is called I'll Be Back, How to Get Customers to Come Back Again and Again. He is the smartest guy I know in terms of customer service experience. And of course, he's also one of the best keynote speakers in the country. And I give you Shep Hyken. Shep, how do businesses contend with, okay, we're going to try to, this is a delicate topic. We're going to try to make you as special as the next guy, but without looking like the next guy is spending more money and has a first world problem issue. Is this something that companies have to even deal with? Because when he brought it up to me, I started feeling bad immediately about my analogy with you all the time. I want a seamless customer service experience when I pull up to the valet, ... and then from then on, you should stop listening.
Yeah. So at that Motel 6, they don't have valet.
Right.
Yeah. But that's first
and the
problem.
Ritz, pretty sure the Ritz doesn't have self-serve cereal in the morning.
No.
That's good. I like the way you come back on that. Hey, here's the deal. I just wrote about this the other day. We call them awkward customers. We call them customers who don't want to do business with. But I'll give you a true story from Herb Kelleher, the first chairman of Southwest Airlines, who received a letter from a passenger who complained that there was nothing more than peanuts, that they had to fight for their seat. There was no first class. And Herb writes to that passenger, thank you very much for letting me know. There's plenty of airlines who can take care of you. We wish you the best of luck. And if you ever come back, please do. Love, Herb.
So, and by the way, and that's a left-handed way to handle it. And I think there's always competition. And what he was basically saying is, look, this is the way we choose to handle our business and to make a democratic sort of process of flying with us. And if you don't like it, he didn't say if you don't like it, lump it. He said, hey, there's other people that could accommodate differently. You're also not going to get. You're also not going to get to San Francisco from LA for $65 either. Right.
But it's fun to send the competition your tough customers, and then they may realize yeah, we had it better back at the other place. Let's go back and that's why I always say, as bad as the customer gets, unless they're absolutely like disrespectful and there's no way you would ever have them back because of the way they treated your people, I would say leave the door ever so slightly ajar, just in case they want to come back, and give them a chance to make up for their sins. They can apologize, they can do whatever, but maybe they'll come to realization that you are offering the best that you can. By the way, I joked about Motel 6. I can't remember if it was a Super 8, a Motel 6, but some brand that was at the lower level. And believe it or not, I had a client that had a conference at one of these hotels, and we're there, and I thought to myself, if you transplant any of these people at the front desk to the Ritz-Carlton would love having these people working for them.
No kidding.
So even though, you might get self-serve cereal at the Motel 6 and not at the Ritz, you do still deserve to be treated with respect and dignity.
Is it because our expectations are too high at these places? If you check into a Hyatt, you have a different expectation than if you check into that Motel 6.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe our expectations are too high, though. Maybe it's the fact that
you're paying more, though. Think
right.
how much
No, that's
you're
a good
paying.
point. That's a great point.
So you're paying more money, you expect more.
That's a good
I would
point.
think.
Yeah.
Hey, Shep, I want to talk about. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's like a utility. I mean, you expect. What am I paying for? I'm getting a room with a TV, clock radio. That's about it, and a bathroom. If I'm willing to pay more for fancier sheets and a fluffier bed, great. And I expect that. If you're going to guarantee me the level of service at the Ritz, you better deliver. And if not, set my expectations. I stayed at a Comfort Inn, and they go, hey, we don't have any mints for the pillow, but we've got this. And they pull out this little basket of like $2 long candy bars. And I'm thinking to myself, the room rate's $54 and they're giving me a $2 candy bar. Basically almost 5% of their cost goes to my late night snack.
But you went back, didn't you?
That's pretty amazing.
I'm talking about it. I won't tell you the name of the hotel brand, but the initials were Comfort Inn.
Shep, we always talk to you about customer service satisfaction, like the reviews and also the surveys that you get after.
Yeah, are those real? Come on.
No, they are. And you know what? I love to do them, especially after getting to know you. And I realize how important it is for the brands to have these, or the businesses to have these satisfaction surveys. But here's the thing is sometimes I'll click through and they make it so easy for me. And then other times I got to go step by step. And then I'm like, you lost me. You lost my train of thought.
You're gone. You're done.
What are some tips?
Checked
Do you have
out.
some tips for how to make it easy for people to do?
Yeah, first of all, short is better. 3 questions. Ask me a couple of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 questions that take literally seconds, and then hit me with an open-ended, like, why'd you give me that? What can we do to make it better? Simple. Keep it simple, and you'll get more people responding.
Shep, I got to tell you, we need you in studio. We need you here for a whole hour for 3 days straight and do the Shep Hyken experience.
I'm excited thinking about it. Let's do it. I'll let you know when I'm back.
It's ready. And he's going to say when he leaves,
later.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Shep Hyken. Shep, thank you so much for being patient today. We had a crazy day on the set. Shep Hyken, Chief Amazement Officer. Of course, I'll be back. One of his many, many books. You can go to his website, hyken.com, and that does it for us. We'll see you on Tuesday. Big Biz Show, out.